What's good, everybody? It's your boy TBT, the Brainless Trader. We back with another video. You already know what it is. Today, what I'm gonna do for y'all is we're gonna go over kind of some of the stuff that I talked about in my last video, talking about fundamentals and how to navigate the market with certain fundamentals. Now, depending on where you're trading and what you're trading, you have to be careful about when you're entering the market, depending on what the fundamentals are, right? Now, a lot of times you're going to have news and legitimate news, because the sessions that I trade are in London and the New York session. So you're going to have legitimate news in London, right? You're going to have it at 2 a.m. You're going to have it at 4:30, most likely. And that 3 a.m. to 4:30-ish 5 time frame is really the time frame that, because usually after the 2 a.m. news, if it's high impact, you'll get a setup possibly at 3 a.m. Right at 3 a.m. or like around 2:45 or around 3:30, moving into the 4:30 to 5 time frame. Now the kill zone that ICT talks about for London is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. right? But the news, if it's going to launch at 2, you want to give it some time, which usually about 3, it's like boom, 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 ready to move. So you have to learn the different flows of the market when certain news is in the market, right? So for example, when you have an FOMC news day, I don't even trade it, because a lot of times they're manipulating that market like crazy. And we'll go over a trade in one of my next videos where I talk about, it's not even FOMC day, but they basically do seek and destroy, where they go and take sell stops to the bottom side on one move on like the 3-minute chart, and then they go back and take the buy side liquidity again, and then they send the chart back down, right? So it was crazy. But essentially, when there's 2 a.m. news, right? When there's London high impact news, 2 a.m. or 4:30, you can possibly take trades in London after that 2 a.m. news is gone. That 2 a.m. news is really going to be the most high impact. So let's look at an example of that, right? You might get 2 a.m. news, for example, this Tuesday, July 19th, upcoming, is a day that we're going to have high impact 2 a.m. news, 1 high impact, 2 high impact. Now you got 3 medium impact 2 a.m. news, all from the GBP. I only trade the GBP, the Euro USD, and then indices, right? So really, I take my Forex live news and I chop my filter up. I don't look at none of these. I don't need them. I need the central banks and all this stuff. And then I need United States, United Kingdom, European Monetary Union. That's what I need. Every day I come in there and I set it up, because that's all I want to see. So boom, and now you see at 4 a.m. we're going to have another high impact. So you really want to give price a chance to do what it's going to do after that 2 a.m. to see if there is a clear setup. Now, as you learn to trade and you learn to make sure that you're only taking trades that are within your model, within the clear setup that you have identified for yourself. Now, for us, what is that? I already told y'all what it is. Maybe we should go ahead and show y'all what that is, because I have those rules set up here. So if you go back to my stream, I have a page on my stream where I show what the rules are. So boom, let's kind of go over it. Essentially, the rules are, we're waiting for what? Run on liquidity against the higher time frame bias to start the sell program or the buy program, right? We want to also see reciprocal pricing in the DXY, meaning we want to see the opposite happening in the DXY from what we're seeing for foreign currency, meaning GBP, USD, Euro USD, the ones that I trade. Number 3, an impulsive candle trading away from the breaker, or mainly the order block, and creating that fair value gap, right? Which then we're looking for price for number 4 to trade back up into and not fill the zone of that fair value gap or that order block completely. If we can leave it at 50% and then continue in the direction, or whatever the direction of the higher time frame buy is, that is exactly what we're looking for. These 4 simple rules. Now this is me. This is my simple rules, right, for trading that I identify. So if you understand your rules, eventually you'll get to the point where you're gonna align yourself with the proper time frame to trade, not based off of the news, but based off of when the clear setup presents itself. But in my trading infancy, learning all these things, I feel like it's good to have some sort of rules regarding the actual news, because I've had a tendency to prematurely get into trades before news, thinking that I see something that I'm really not seeing. So if I can keep myself out of the market, in the video before I talk about the trade I took in the live session, I talked about how I just took so many trades before the actual trade was presented. I entered into a lot of drawdown that I didn't need to enter into. So I made a strategy where I'm going to enter into a much smaller lot, and I'm going to enter into half of the risk that I would normally enter into once I get the clear setup to identify itself. And then once I get that first position into stops to profit, I can look for another opportunity to get into another half size of that lot to equal to that whole 10 lot that I like to trade, right? And then that way I take the risk from the first position, transfer it to the second one. Once the second one stops to profit, I have no risk, and I can look for one more trade on the pullback, which if I get it, I can get it, right? So with the news, I understand with 2 a.m. news, high impact, I'm waiting at least until 3 a.m. If I don't see a solid setup in 3 a.m., I'm gonna probably wait until the crossover between the GBP the London session and the New York session, right? That's what I'm gonna wait for, because that's when the influx of all the money is coming in. So that's when the move might be presented.